So, obviously, great British band, New Order.
Yeah.
Brilliant. While that was playing, you were saying you live with bass players in Britpop.
I did.
Or shared flats or whatever.
I did.
So you know.
I kind of it's a funny track record really. I've lived with 3 successful bass players of that era, and I don't know what is it? I don't know what it is. It's not a claim to fame. I don't know what you call it. It must be the drum and bass thing, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I lived with Alex from Blur for a bit, Matt from Suede, and Steve from Pulp. So it was a kind of the strike force, if you like, of that sort of era, you know. Yeah, but we had some good times. Some good times.
So was there, a friendship between all the bands then? It sounds like it was,
I think so. Yeah. I mean, particularly the sort of ones. I mean, Oasis kind of moved down to London a bit later, you know.
But they made out they were sort of enemies with everyone.
They did, but they were all right, you know.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, Noel was always mate. It's very dry, but makes you laugh, you know. But I think the Pulps, the Blurs, and Suede and Suede had a little bit of a battle thing going on, but between Elastica and those, it was quite a big family thing. Not only that, we're always touring together. We're always on the road together and playing gigs, Europe or wherever. So we would see a lot of each other.
Mm. So did it feel like it was a movement as such, or was it just like coincidentally there was loads of good bands coming out at the same time, or did it feel like it was a movement sweeping the country as such, or do you think? Or?
It was a time when all you only, if you were in a band you were going to get signed. It was kind of it was everybody I knew was in bands. Like even there's no money around, you'd be trying to sign on, and everyone that was signing on were in bands, and then next thing you know, a few weeks later they weren't signing on because they got a record deal, Right. So it was a kind of an odd time
because it was a resurgence of bands coming back, because you'd had the house thing when it had all gone to clubs and just records, I suppose, and there were bands around. There must have been millions of such, but it wasn't quite as in favour, was it?
No,
I mean, it was like the rebirth of it all in a way. Wasn't it
was. I mean, obviously you got all the end of the end of the sort of baggy thing, and it went a bit shoegazery, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it was just a bit more kind of had a more of a poppy edge instead of a darker edge again. And it just meant people just, I remember, there was like Simon, who was the guitarist in Menswear. Do you remember Menswear?
Yeah.
And I was on the tube at King's Cross, and I just watched this guy just wandering up and down the platform, and he was like, he came up to me and said, do you know where the mixer is? The good mixer? I said, well, yeah, it's Camden. I'm going to Camden. And so I showed him where the pub was. I was actually, funny enough, going there.
So that was the focal point, was it, for that scene, sort of?
It was kind of, it was the sort of the home, the hub, It's I mean, there was other places. There was a place called Smashing, which was a great club, but the mixer seemed to have that Camden, North London, Britpoppy sort of centre. And anyway, Simon, I introduced him. Next I know, he's in this band called Menswear, and they got a deal like a couple of weeks later. He'd only been in London about 4 hours, and there he was signed. So it was a fast time.
And all the bands had one-word names as well. Like all the punk bands had punky names, like the Clash and the Damned.
Yeah, what happened to the? Everyone dropped the, didn't they? Yeah. So it was all one word. Yeah.
So being signed to Geffen, was that a plus for you then? To get into America, was that a huge help for you? Did it pay off?
The band did really well. Elastica did really well in America, to oppose to some of the other Britpoppy bands,
because they'd have to go out there as unknowns, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean we did the normal kind of slogging it, but all the small venues and working our way up. But we seemed to, I think we had, because of having that push, I think we did a lot. Well, I know we did a lot better than.
Did you meet the head honcho at Geffen? What's his name?
What, David?
Yeah.
David
He's
Geffen.
a character, isn't he?
Apparently, I never met him. I just kind of visualised him to be this big guy in cowboy boots and a big 10-gallon hat, almost, And but no, he sort of didn't just. He was into his metal bands, wasn't he? He liked the Guns N' Roses and the Aerosmiths, and I think that's where he made his mark, wasn't it?
But being signed to them, was it completely different? Was it like, wow, they got a bit of money behind them, and did they sort of bankroll?
They didn't come across as that way, because they were on Sunset, which is one of the things, Sunset Boulevard, but they had their offices was like this little house. It was like a twee sort of
Because I think they came out of the hippie scene, I suppose,
yeah,
didn't they? So
I think they
they
did.
were a bit more right on than...
I think they did, yeah. But a lot of the other big companies like Capitol had the big, massive buildings and you know,
spinning globes on the top.
Yeah, it was all a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit not really in our league. Really, it's not what we were looking for.
Yeah.
They seemed a bit more homegrown.
And did they look after you then, or did it end
badly
initially? They look after.
Well, they dropped us in the end. I think the second album taking as long as it did, they sort of dropped us, but they did. We had a good time with them, and they got us on good tours. But the problem with Geffen really was they let us to do what we wanted to do, and which was a good thing on our part, but it kind of
kids in the sweet shop.
We should have sort of got on with it a bit quicker. Yeah. So it was good. It was good. It was good times.
So what are you going to play now? Are you going to play another tune meant a lot to you at one point?
Yeah, I thought we might. Well, I was going to choose the Beastie Boys. So I think the reason being was this is the first song I played drums to in a band. So it was the first song I played, and also it's kind of sort of a soundtrack to my life, if you like. So is the Beastie Boys and Fight for Your Right to Party.
You're listening to Pelirocco Platters on RadioReverb.com 97.2 FM. Justin Welch is here playing some music. Was that yours and Britpop's theme tune now? Fight for Your Right to Party.
I think it's my theme tune for continuously throughout my life. I think. I mean, the other track was Born to Be Wild. That was the two songs that we learned. So, Steppenwolf and in my very first band, So I was kind of trying to keep those as my pathway to freedom.
So sort of skipping through Elastica's career. I mean, you're saying the Geffen records dropped you.
Yeah.
What happened then?
Well, they dropped us in this kind of period when we were trying to do the second album. I mean, the album we recorded it virtually, finished it with Alan Moulder, and I thought it was pretty good. I liked it, but we started doing it again, and it was during that point. I mean, it was 4 years. It's quite a long time. So they dropped us, and then I kind of got out of London for a while with my wife, and I started doing a load of teaching, and so I've been doing loads of drum teaching, and then my good mate in London was James from EMF. And we sort of decided to put this band together. We'd done a few little project things in over the years, little gigs together or a few little sort of drumming things. And we decided to put. He got this little project called Asbo Kid going, and I was like, well, if we're going to do it, we should do it a little bit more, sort of take it a bit more seriously, and sort of get a new album together, and just try and rework some songs. So he lives up north, I live down here, so it's a lot of file sharing, but we've got the same sort of taste in music. So we played some specials earlier. We played the Beastie Boys. He's a big sort of new wavy fan as well, with things like The Cure, and we just sort of realised that we could actually sort of, rather than just DJ these songs at home, make something better of it. So we kind of put this sort of band together, which is like a DJ set, really. We have a lot of the influences in there. What,
do you go out DJing then, or do you play?
We do a little bit. I play a little bit. Not as much as I used to. I used to do a few little residences and stuff, but more. Once in a while, we'll occasionally get the gigs, and we play as a band. We play just the two of us, so it's kind of easy to sort of put a gig together, But yeah, the idea is we've got loads of old classic samples in, loads of sirens and stuff like that, and we just we played Glade in the summer, and went to Russia a couple of times last year. So we're out there doing gigs every so often, Corsica. So we tend to try and sort of where the location is attractive, then we'll go, But so that's how we kind of have.
Well, we got time for two more songs, and the last but one. You're going to play, is it Orbital?
Going to play an Orbital track, yeah, that's cool. Halcyon I was going to play simply because, coming out of that sort of Kraftwerky sort of thing, I love all that sort of 808 and 909s. and I think it was one of the best gigs I ever saw was on an Elastica tour. Justine had got ill, and Orbital were playing in the same town, Sheffield Octagon. So we all went to that subsequently, and what a night it was, So they were in the tower, it was set up in the middle, and it was just a good night. So
this reflects that. We've had to fade that one, and we've been enjoying that. Brought back a lot of good memories.
Still 4.5 minutes to go, so we'll put it back on at the end. Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on.
You're welcome, man.
Brilliant.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's
and we'll be seeing you again at your birthday party.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it. Those mojitos, I can smell them from here. So,
well, brilliant. Thanks very much indeed for coming on Pelirocco Platters. And what's your last track?
Well, it's a pleasure being here. Last track, I thought we'd do Massive Attack. Massive Attack have always been a massive influence. Massive. pardon the wording. But Big Wheel. I've always loved this tune. Horace Andy singing on it. It's just a winner, So and thanks for having me.
Brilliant.